Okay, so today we're going to dive into a really fascinating religious speech. It takes just a single verse from the Quran and uses its hidden symbols to basically reinterpret the last 1400 years of history. The central idea is that one single pivotal event changed absolutely everything.
So the speech kicks right off with this massive puzzle. How can one verse define an entire history? It suggests that a specific allegorical verse isn't just there for spiritual guidance, it's actually the key, the code, to understanding the entire path of history for centuries. Now, to really get what's going on here, we need to understand this key concept that the speaker brings up, mutashabihat. As you can see, these are allegorical verses, and the argument is their true meaning isn't obvious at all. You can't just read a translation, you need a knowledgeable guide to unlock what they're really saying.
And the speech then zooms in on one super powerful example of these verses, the verse of light. From there, it starts to unpack each and every symbol, offering a very specific and pretty profound interpretation for each part.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how these abstract symbols from the verse get mapped directly onto key historical figures. According to the speech, the niche, which is the very source of the light, is identified as Fatima, and the lantern and the glass inside it, those are her sons. This places her family right at the heart of this divine light.
So what this interpretation does is it elevates Fatima to this incredibly unique status. The speech argues she isn't just a symbol of light, but a direct, spontaneous source of divine knowledge herself. The term used is alima gaira mu'alima, basically someone who is deeply knowledgeable without ever being taught by another person.
All right, so you might be asking, how does all this theology actually connect to history? Well, the speech links all of these ideas to a single pivotal event, and it's not framed as just some political disagreement. It's described as a coup, a full-on regime change against the system that was meant to be.
So, according to the speech, the attack on her home is the moment. It's the absolute turning point in history. In this view, that single event knocked everything off its tracks and sent the world down a completely different and, as the speaker argues, a much darker path.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly, right? You've got these two parallel realities. On one side, you have the path that was intended, a path of justice, unity, and light. And on the other, you have what the speech says actually happened because of that regime change, the complete and tragic opposite of it all.
To make this point really hit home, the speaker uses this incredibly powerful analogy. The breaking of the door is compared to the moment the Titanic struck the iceberg. In this metaphor, the ship is Islam itself, and the passengers, well, that's all Muslims, now sailing toward disaster. So, after that one critical moment, the speech lays out this whole cascade of consequences. The main argument is that with that one act, the entire system of divine justice just collapsed, and it created ripples that are, according to the speaker, still being felt today. The speech makes another fascinating comparison. It says that sacred laws are like surgical tools. They're powerful, they're precise, and they're meant for healing. But in the hands of someone who isn't the expert surgeon, the divinely appointed imam, they become incredibly dangerous weapons. And this wasn't just a short-term problem. The speech claims that one event set off a domino effect that lasted for centuries. We're talking widespread injustice, division among Muslims, centuries of tyranny, and the loss of the community's standing in the world. But you have to wonder, right? Why? How could something like this happen? The speaker then digs into why the community at the time allegedly failed to act, even though they knew Fatima's high status. And the diagnosis offered in the speech points to a combination of things. It was a mix of weakening faith, people being more concerned with worldly possessions and their own interests, a genuine fear of the new government, and even old tribal loyalties winning out over their religious unity. Okay, so after all this deep historical analysis, the speech doesn't just leave us in the past. It pivots to today, and it offers what it calls a golden key for believers who are facing their own challenges right now. And this golden key is a specific spiritual practice known as tawassul. In this context, it's about seeking intercession, so asking God for something, but by way of a revered figure. In this case, by way of Fatima al-Zahra. The speech outlines a very simple, very direct method for this practice. You face the Qibla, raise your hands, and you speak directly to God. But the key part, the golden key, is swearing upon Allah by Fatima's status to have your prayer answered. And to show just how powerful this is, the speech includes this quote attributed to an imam.
The claim is that this form of prayer, this specific plea, holds so much weight that God will never return your hands empty.
So, let's wrap this up. What we've seen is a complete narrative where a single moment of perceived injustice is believed to have cascaded through time, defining centuries of struggle. But then it offers a specific spiritual path to reconnect with the divine light that it claims was lost. And it leaves us with a pretty big question. What does it mean to see history not as a series of random events, but through such a focused, theological lens?